From K2 News, this is breaking news.
To the two pilots up front who removed my hands and asked me to leave the flight deck, which I did. I am forever grateful to them.
The former Alaska Airlines pilot who forced an emergency landing when he tried to stop a plane's engine mid-flight, pleading out today in both federal and state court. Joseph Emerson pleaded guilty to one count of interfering with a flight crew. That's a federal charge he'll be sentenced for in November. He pleaded no contest to state charges of endangering an aircraft and dozens of counts of reckless endangerment and was sentenced for that today. Good evening. Thanks for joining us, everybody. I'm Steve Dunn.
I'm Deborah Knapp. Today, Emerson, along with passengers who were on that plane, spoke out in court. We have live team coverage tonight. K2's Tanvi Verma has reaction from the passengers.
But first of all, let's go to Christina Giardinelli, who was there in both courtrooms as Emerson entered his pleas today. And Christina, he will not see any more time behind bars for the Oregon charges, right?
Steve, not unless he violates parole, but as you mentioned, we'll need to wait till November to find out if that federal judge will call for more time behind bars. The charges he faces in that court and pleading guilty to those charges today means he could face up to 20 years behind bars, but his plea deal there only calls for one. The judge, though, could choose not to honor it. In both state and federal pleas, he agreed to pay two victims $59,000 total. The atmosphere in court was emotional, with people on both sides, including the victims, agreeing that the commercial pilot industry needs change. Emerson and his lawyers say he had been suffering from depression because of a friend's death, but feared seeking medical help because a prescription for certain medications could mean by law he'd have to stop flying. Emerson says that's why he chose to self-medicate. He told police he took psychedelic mushrooms 2 days before flying as a passenger in the cockpit of the plane. It's a privilege reserved for pilots and means if the pilot on duty is incapacitated, he would have taken charge of the plane. He told police he grabbed the emergency levers because he believed he was asleep and wanted to wake up. In court, he thanked the crew members who prevented this from ending in tragedy.
I'm forever grateful to them and grateful to every guest on that airplane for listening to the instructions of the two flight attendant crew members in the back, because they saved my life. This difficult journey has made me a better father, a better husband, a better member of my community. And I lost, from all external perspectives, everything I had ever worked for. But it's the greatest gift that I ever got. Because today I get to be the dad I was incapable of when I had to use alcohol to deal with life as life is.
During that statement, he also apologized to the passengers, crew members, the airline industry, and society as a whole. As he spoke, his wife and family behind him sobbed. The state of Oregon also sentenced Emerson to 664 hours of community service, 8 hours for each of the 80 passengers on that plane. Now, Emerson also told the judge he will never stop giving back and will always work to create positive change for pilots. He also said he'd like to talk to kids in schools about the danger of psychedelics. Live in Southwest Portland, Christina Giardinelli, K2 News.
My husband and I are lucky to be alive today, thanks to the actions of our incredible crew that day.
Mixed reaction from passengers who were on the flight, expressing gratitude for the crew that saved their lives, but also anxiety about flying in the future.
K2's Tanvi Verma continues our team coverage from outside the courthouse now. And Tanvi, how are the victims feeling about the punishment that Emerson is now looking at?
So, Steve, we heard from two passengers. One passenger who says that Emerson should not be facing any jail time because she feels he has mental health issues. Another passenger saying he's getting off way too easy. After court and after we heard from those victims and their statements, District Attorney Nathan Vasquez held a press conference on this case. I want to show you first why a victim says Emerson's punishment isn't enough, and then District Attorney Vasquez's response to the victim statement.
The choices that Joseph Emerson made that day and the policies that allowed them nearly led to our deaths. My husband and I are neither judge nor jury, but the consequences proposed today seem insufficient relative to Mr. Emerson's choices and actions.
Certainly, I think there could always be questions about what's the right numbers and different things, but what she was asking for in particular was that, we see opportunities for change system-wide. We're calling for change system-wide. We saw where there was a call for Mr. Emerson to go speak at schools. I believe he's fully receptive to that.
Emerson will be sharing his story as a way to prevent this from happening to someone else. The victim also spoke about how grateful she is to the crew who saved her life. She said the crew outnumbered Emerson and used their training and their wits to manage the situation. To see full victim impact statements and why one victim says she wants to see more changes to the system, you can go to our website at katu.com. Reporting live in Southwest Portland, Tanvi Verma, K2 News.
Tanvi, thank you. And today, Alaska Airlines said they have no comment on the legal proceedings of their former employee. They did say they remain proud of the Horizon flight crew and their quick actions. They said that crew represents the best of their profession.
After Emerson's day in court, we spoke to Ron Magnus, a flight instructor. Magnus spoke on mental health with pilots, something Emerson said is an issue in the aviation industry.
There is a strong feeling that with mental health issues, people tend to want to conceal them because of the risk of losing their career. I believe that it's something that needs to be investigated at various levels so that we can see if there can be help given to these people so they can continue functioning and it's acceptable by the FAA.
The FAA says it encourages pilots to seek help, and they note most conditions, if treated, don't disqualify a pilot from flying.